I was blown away. Like, I don't know. I'm still not quite sure what I just watched. Like, okay, so I went to the theater the other night and I was trying to decide between Evil Dead Burn or Motor City. I had not heard of Motor City. I watched a trailer. Looked like a fun revenge flick. Who doesn't enjoy that? So I decided to go with Motor City. And okay, this movie, I didn't look at reviews of it. I always try to go in as blind as I possibly can. And I did on this one. I watched the trailer. I thought it looked kind of cool. So I thought, all right, let's give it a chance. I like a good revenge flick. That's kind of like Tarantino's main plot line. And I enjoy those movies. So it's set in Detroit in 1977. There's a guy who works, I think, at like an auto factory, which makes sense in Detroit. And he's got a girlfriend who he's wanting to propose to. And it kind of shows you through some flashbacks. This all happens early in the film. He's wanting to propose to her. He's got a ring, but he does have a past where he's on probation. And what the film does well here at the beginning is the notion of show, don't tell. So there's not a lot of dialogue, and you're like watching, and there's music, and it's almost like a montage, which I'm okay with because, they're just kind of giving us a lot of information. Anyways, the whole gist of the movie is that he gets set up by his girlfriend's previous lover, who is I guess a big drug dealer in Detroit. And this guy is still mad about it, apparently. And I guess years later, he decides to set him up, put a bunch of cocaine in his trunk, and basically sentence him 25 years in prison. So all this happens early in the film. And so then that's the whole revenge, right? The main protagonist who's in prison is trying to get out of prison so that he can take revenge on this guy and get his girl back. And that's the whole plot of the film, which is fine. It's a simple plot. I'm totally okay with that. At least at the beginning of the film, it feels like it's filmed pretty well. You get that gritty Detroit feeling from the 70s. The music's a little generic, but you're kind of like, it's fine. I'm enjoying this. It's montagey. There's not a lot of dialogue. And that all works for 10, 15 minutes. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of a cool way of doing this film and setting things up and everything like that. And the acting was really great. So that's kind of where the good things stop. By the time I was 30 minutes into the film, I realized, oh, they don't really have a script. There's no, there was a script, there was a story, and a thought out story, which I was on board for the story. But what I mean by no script is there was no dialogue in this film. I'm not kidding. It was 30 minutes in and I was and there were scenes where I was okay, here we go. We're ready to start the movie. We've got a scene where two people are sitting together and they're going to have a conversation. Nope. And that's when it started to my neck kind of started to tighten up because it was then it started to feel forced. They went into this movie going, what if we made a movie, an entire movie with no dialogue? And then they were trying to force parts of the movie into that idea. and you could feel it. And it got really hokey and really cheesy. Some scenes it worked fine, but there were a lot of scenes where it felt really off. And I mean, I just had a lot of trouble watching it because it was so distracting. I mean, when you have two characters sitting down at a table and they need to be having a conversation and you decide, no, we're still not going to have any dialogue. Like, I am not exaggerating. Okay. I wanted to come in and say there were only like 5 words ever spoken in this film, but there were more than that. But it was probably maybe 20 words total in the entire like hour, and I don't know, it might have been like an hour and 40 minutes. And all of those words were pretty much just like throwaway, exclamations, like words like yeah or hey or, someone's last name or something like that. And then I started to realize, I mean, I'm telling you, it was like an hour in and I'm still like, they're not, this is what this movie is. They have decided they're not going to have dialogue in this movie, which is just such a really cool idea for a short film, for a college student to showcase how to show and not tell. But this movie proves that you can go to an extreme in any sort of rule or idea, because this was way too much show, don't tell. And and it just got really boring because of that. And it was a lot harder to care about the characters and the story. And it just got so distracting in a story that I was actually on board for and I was invested in. And I just was cringing the whole time. I mean, like, I just could not believe that they were just not going to have any dialogue in the film, just to be, like, hey, we've got no dialogue in this film. Isn't that kind of a neat idea? It's like, yeah, it is for a short film, not for an entire feature film. It gets hokey. It's hard to sit through. And I don't know. And then it just, like, it's almost like you're watching, in Friends. I think there was a scene where they're like passing a ball back and forth and they were at like, 300 passes, and they're seeing how many times nobody dropped it and they keep going back and forth. It feels like that. Like you're watching two people do that and you're like, oh, are they going to be able to, oh, they didn't drop it. Oh, it's going back. Oh, they didn't drop it. Like, it's like, you're paying more attention to that than you are to the actual movie. And honestly, I would still give the movie a pass if that was the only problem with it. But then the last 30 minutes, which basically you're waiting this whole time for this action-packed revenge flick, because it starts with a flash forward of this action scene. And you're like, okay, this is, and according to the trailer, it's like toting it as this big bloody action-packed film. And so that's what you're signing up for. You're signing up for this action, revenge, murder, bloody flick. And there's a little bit of that. But when I say a little bit, I mean, he doesn't get out of prison and start going to take revenge until the last 30 minutes of the film. If that, maybe the last 20 minutes of the film. And again, it was obvious that they didn't really have much of a script, because there was a lot of slow-mo in the first hour for sure. I mean, a lot. But it was like the last 30 minutes of the film, they just like left the camera on like 120 frames per second. I mean, we're not even talking 60 frames. Like, we're talking like really slow. And like the whole rest of the movie was basically slow motion. And when it wasn't, and they decided to play it at real time, you could tell that they shot it at like 120 frames per second or maybe even 300 frames per second. I'm not sure. The shutter was so fast on the camera that like it looked so bad when they played stuff in real time, to the point that it was like, that's fine, just leave it in slow-mo because this looks bad. I mean, it looked like film student learning their camera bad. And what also felt like film student was the fact that there was so much slow-mo. I mean, it was like at some point in this film, you realize I'm just watching a music video. I'm not watching a film. This is just a really long music video. And when they would play songs that were, you know, your generic 70s songs like Fleetwood Mac and, you know, Lovely Day and stuff like that, it was like they would play the entire song from start to finish, which shows you how much montage is in this film. The fact that they would just have slow-mo scenes for that much to play an entire 3-minute song. Like, I was blown away. Like, I don't know. I'm still not quite sure what I just watched. Like, it. Anyways, to get back to the last 30 minutes of the film, which are supposed to be satisfying, there were a couple bits. There was like an elevator fight scene, which was almost really cool. There were like 2 different cool camera angles, and they had one shot that sat in this one spot and they were like fighting off screen, and you were kind of just waiting because you're like nervous that, you know, there's like a thing sticking on the ground. And you're like, oh, somebody's going to come down on that and get stabbed. And like, honestly, if they had done the whole fight scene like that and just left it on that shot, it would have been like really unique and really cool. But they didn't. They did the same old, like, we got 10 different angles of this fight scene and we're going to use every single angle. And so it was just over edited, overshot. Yeah, there's a little bit of blood in that scene, and that is it. And you see it in the trailer. That's it. It honestly felt like the last 30 minutes was filmed by, it felt like it was filmed by the same director, but at different times in his career or something like that, if that makes sense. Like the first hour was like older director, and the last 30 minutes was like 20-year-old director or something. I don't know. It just felt completely off, and I just didn't care at that point. It got so cheesy. Anything that I could overlook in the first hour and be like, okay, this is still kind of okay, or this is cool, all that went out the window for the last bit of the film. It was just excruciating to get through. It was cheesy. They started making all the most generic choices possible at that point. I don't know if they're just rushing to get the film done or like what, but it just got really dumb. And the ending was just so bad. Like, I think this film has a chance of being a cult classic. It's obviously not going to be a hit. I mean, maybe, but I highly, highly doubt it. I don't think many people are going to go see this film. So that gives it a chance to become a cult classic, but it's borderline like so bad it's good. Honestly, mostly because of the ending. I mean, the ending, and I can't give anything away, but it's like, what a weird choice. Like, and it's almost like they decided they weren't going to have any dialogue until the last 2 lines of the film. And if you're going to do that, those last 2 lines of the film have to be like stellar. But they weren't. They were like somebody in high school writing a script. And I know that sounds really harsh, but it was just not good. And for that to be the buildup of no dialogue all the way till the very end, and then we're going to have 2 lines that are just like, really? No. Like, and also the dialogue was revealing, because then I was like, oh, was that the story you were trying to tell this whole time? Because I don't know if I totally got that, which is why like some dialogue throughout the film would have helped me understand everything a little better. It's hokey, it's cheesy, and I'm not against a film doing that and me being able to shut off my brain and still enjoy it. I was really trying to. It had all the elements that I would like, but they just didn't execute it well. And yeah, it just wasn't good. It wasn't a good movie. On a side note, so actually, like, I used to be a musician and I used to play garage rock. And so like Jack White, specifically the White Stripes, were such a huge influence on me when I was playing music. And I absolutely loved their music. When I saw Jack White was a part of this, I was intrigued. But I also sometimes, I mean, he has no problem taking risks and trying a bunch of stuff. Some stuff works, some stuff doesn't. And I appreciate that about him. He's got a little bit of a David Bowie kind of thing about him as an artist, where he's willing to just take these huge risks. And so that means he swings big, and he's either going to hit big or miss big, which is fine. But like, he was, I think, music supervisor on this is what the credits said. And I thought the song choices were really generic for Jack White picking them out. I get that you want to have some of that in there. You want people to feel like it's the 70s, and so the music is important. But like, I feel like he could have picked some B-sides and, you know, just some less known 70s songs to like go into this film. And then on top of that, he has a cameo in it where he's just like playing a piano in a restaurant. And like, he has acted in other films, and he's a good actor. Like, I don't have an issue with him acting, but like, that cameo was so distracting to me. Like, maybe it won't be for somebody who doesn't know Jack White, but like, he kind of stands out. And so I don't know, that was just too distracting to me. But I think at that point the film was already kind of, you know, going down the drain. So like, that's fine, but it was just pretty distracting cameo for me anyways. Some cameos work in films. I feel like usually it's a comedy or something where like the cameo is part of the joke. This cameo just didn't work to me. It was just really distracting, and I don't know why they did it, other than like, he was, I think, also a producer on the film. So like, it was probably just like yeah, you want to be in it? Okay, cool. Yeah, let's find a scene for you to like play piano. That'd be cool. And that's fine. You know what? Sure. Why not? Like, there's already way bigger problems than that. So sure, fine. So should you go see this in the theaters? I think if you have some sort of pass, you know, to at Regal or AMC or something like that, maybe. But I think even then there's going to be better films to watch. I wish I had done Evil Dead Burn over this film. I decided to do Motor City because it looked interesting. I like revenge flicks. It was opening weekend, so I thought, okay, sure, like let me go ahead and watch this. But wish I hadn't. It felt like a waste of an evening for me. I hate to say that, but like, it's just not a good movie. It's a neat idea. You know, a director who can take these kind of film school neat ideas and make them into feature films is someone like Richard Linklater. He can take these just weird ideas, right? He could have taken an idea like this and been like, I'm going to make a film with no dialogue, and somehow it would have worked. He has that special ability for some reason, but this did not work. And I think the director has made some other films, like I think Old Henry, which I haven't seen, but I think it's got some cult status. So maybe this one will like strike the right nerve to become a cult classic. Maybe if I watched it again, I would enjoy it better going into it knowing that there's no dialogue. So maybe it's good to like this time to like read reviews and learn about the film ahead of time, because I feel like the entire time I was like, are they going to talk now? Nope, they're not going to talk now. Are they going to talk in this scene? Nope, they're not going to talk. So I feel like it was kind of exhausting. I did that the entire film. So maybe on a second watch through, I would know what I was getting into. But that being said, it's just like a big montage music video. So there's just not a lot of depth to it. And it's not fun. I'm sorry. You're going to make an action revenge flick. It has to be fun. And it was like, there can be drama and setup and all of that stuff in a movie like that. But when the setup and the drama is 90% of the film, maybe even more than that, and you're only getting a little tiny bit of action, like I'm sorry, you're just not giving the audience what they signed up for. When, you're being disingenuous. When I, as a viewer, watch this trailer and I think I'm getting into this like fun, grindhouse action revenge flick, and that's what you literally tell me in the trailer, and then I go and watch it, and it is a revenge flick, but it's not an action-packed, bloody, like fun sort of thing. Yes, there's one scene that kind of fit that, just one, but like I don't even know if I would watch this if it came out on streaming. I think you can skip this one. Just my opinion. You might like it if you start reading other reviews and it sounds like something you'd like to watch, then go watch it. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but this one to me was a miss for sure. Some really good trailers beforehand, but yeah, I'm going to say that this one is not worth going to see in theaters, and maybe not worth watching at all. Just my opinion. Maybe you've seen it. Maybe you have other thoughts. Please let me know in the comments, and please subscribe, and just, keep leaving comments. It really does encourage me to keep making more of these videos. I'm really enjoying it. I appreciate you coming and watching this video, and I will see you on the next one.